If you have ever wondered why, the higher you climb or the higher you rise, the fewer people you can actually relate to, there is a reason for that. And it's not arrogance, it is psychology. Winners and high performers and really ambitious people tend to isolate themselves and have tighter social circles. It sounds bad, but hear me out. You might need this. This is a hard concept that some people find difficult to accept. Psychological age is not the same thing as chronological age. One of the biggest emotional mistakes that grown professionals make is assuming that someone that is the same age that they are is also coming from the same level of emotional and cognitive development that they are at that age. For example, your boss might be 57, but if he's never developed emotionally beyond the age of a 16-year-old, then you are dealing with a teenager every day when you go to work. If your mother is 65, but she stopped emotionally developing at the age of 12 or 13, then guess what you are dealing with? Some people stop maturing after a certain point. This is the age in which they learn to probably survive instead of evolve, while others, through experiences, sometimes through loss, often through self awareness, continue to evolve, continue to mature, continue to gain wisdom. And when they do, they find that they can no longer entertain the company of those that they have outgrown. I've experienced this personally. When I was a new nurse in my very early 20s, I had a manager who was probably in her late 40s or early 50s. And this woman would gossip every day. She would pout when she didn't get her way. She had the emotional intelligence of, I don't know, someone who probably hadn't graduated high school yet. It did not take me long to understand at that time that maturity has absolutely nothing to do with chronological age. Winners understand this and they move accordingly. My second point here is that leaders understand very well brand association. When I say to you Nike, you have an image that comes to your mind, hopefully, of some really nice tennis shoes, or maybe somebody out playing very well on the basketball court. If I say Lexus to you, I actually like Lexus, and this is not a paid endorsement, but maybe they should call me. When I say Lexus, you think automatically a pretty smooth ride, a nice, reliable car that gives you genuine luxury without being over the top. Every leader, whether in business or in healthcare or even in their personal lives, eventually learns that their personal brands are shaped by association. High performers and winners understand that the people around them, their associates, their association circles, are often the ones who color perceptions in other people's minds, and that is for good reason. We tend to become most like those that we spend the most amount of time with. High performers curate their environment the same way a gardener curates his or her collection of flowers, or a wine connoisseur will carefully curate the specific aged, nice, I like full body red, sexy wines. You select them very carefully, very thoughtfully, because these are your influencers. These are the people who others associate with you when they think of you and when they think of your brand. I later in my career was coaching a nurse. So by now I'm teaching and I'm doing some coaching. And I had a really good nurse manager who was exhausted. And I worked with her for a while, and we found out that her issues had nothing to do with her work or her workload. Turns out that it was the two or three people that she was most closely associating herself with at that job. Turns out their energy was toxic. So they would complain, they would suck the energy literally out of her, and then she would go home feeling disgusting, feeling overwhelmed, thinking that maybe she wasn't a good fit for the job the way that they weren't a good fit for the job. But it turns out it was just the association. And this third point is one of my favorites. I learned this when I was mentoring a therapist who had trouble struggling, feeling burned out from her job because she thought that she didn't care enough about her clients anymore. It turns out that what she needed to do was reset to something that she had learned long ago. She's just lost over the years. Emotional detachment while still maintaining kindness and empathy. I worked with her for a while and we eventually got back there because empathy connects while attachment drains. You see the difference? It is very possible to be empathetic. In fact, it's very healthy to be both empathetic and emotionally detached. Compassion without boundaries turns into very sick people. Leaders understand the difference and they are masters. They are masters of being kind. They detach emotionally without losing compassion, but they don't give away all of their energy and get sucked up into the ideas, the thoughts, the feelings of everyone else.